book is this from? Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Just doing a morning reading, crystal gazing, by Northcote W. Thomas. It's a pretty old book from Nephilim Press from 1905. Talks about the actual purpose of crystals, aside from, batteries and storage houses. You can use them to scry the future or to contact spirits. And that's how I use them. I have a crystal sphere and an obsidian sphere that I use. And I got this book to learn some more techniques on that. I'm currently on the section of priestly magic. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Esoteric Chat, the morning Esoteric Chat. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you slept well. If it is morning where you are, I hope you slept well. If it's later in the day, I hope you're having a good day, or hope you had a good day if you're on the other side of the world. Doing some reading, morning reading, crystal gazing. Do we have any other occultists in the chat? Any witches? Any magicians, sorcerers, shamans, maguses, necromancers, Satanists, Luciferians? Anybody? Hello, Amanda Ailman. Good morning, if it is morning where you are. Just reading crystal gazing from Nephilim Press. I'm on the section about priestly magic and how priests from post-Reformation through now would have done some of their crystal scrying. It's talking about some of the sacred names of God, such as Ihael, Abiel, Anathel, Ame, Hagios, Othios, Deus, Hominum, Potentas, Hecteta. All right here. And it's also interesting that even back then, they focused on testing the spirits and making sure that the spirits say who they are, that they say they are, which is something that we teach in Grimtrad. But I don't find that in a lot of New Age systems that claim to channel spirits and things like that. Whatever spirit shows up, whatever it says, it must be true, must be the truth, they don't lie, and all this other nonsense. But it's interesting that it talks about how D did not do that. That D was satisfied that they were true if they appeared in the crystal. So he would assume that if they appeared when he summoned them, that they must be telling the truth. You can't fall into that trap. You cannot fall into that trap. You always have to ask the spirit its name and to present its seal. So that way, we know if they're telling the truth and if they are who they say they are. Who's moving that door? It's just the wind. Just wind. It's a pretty windy morning out here. I don't know if you can see the trees behind me moving. Maybe not, because I'm looking at them right now and you can't see them moving from that far. But they're moving a little bit. And occasionally you might see my dog who's sitting right here. He might run back there and play around with the door. Hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Daddy, chill. You know what? It's pretty chilly out here. That's a little daddy joke for you. It's knee slapper. All right. This book is heavily Christian influenced, though. There's a lot of prayers to the Abrahamic deity, but that's most of grimoire tradition. Oh, well, here's the sacrifice of a black chicken. You have to take the black chicken, put it into a pot of earth, and then go to a crossway or a crossroad, and there make a hole 3 feet deep and put there in the pot the chicken, and then say, I'm not going to say it, blah, 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 blah. Wow, this is a long thing. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my god. Okay. Where does it end? And then by the blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then after that, thou leave the chicken a glass that all men may see. Where does it end? And then by the blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then after that, thou leave the chicken a glass that all men may see in whatsoever they will. Oh, did we cut out? I'm on Wi-Fi. It says good connection. Intergalactic Starfish, welcome back. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Welcome back this morning. I'm reading Crystal Gazing from Nephilim Press. It's from 1905. Using crystals to scry spirits, mainly angels, but also spirits of the dead. I just read the ritual to see an angel with the sacrifice of a black chicken. But it was written in Old English, so it was very hard to translate on the fly. Like super Old English. Like here, look, I'll show you. It's like super Old English. Like, it spells it as Y-T. Lay is L-A-I-E. Body is B-O-D-I-E. Day is like 7 days, D-A-I-E. Foot has an E on the end of it. Deep has an E on the end of it. Earth is E-R-T-H-E. It's like super Old English. Child is C-H-Y-L-D. This is nuts. Your connection's not good. I'm sorry, is mine good? Mine says good connection. And I got the Wi-Fi 6 Plus up there. What in the Joffrey Chausseur? Is that how you say his name? Joffrey Chausseur. My name is Joffrey Chausseur. I am his Majesty's loyal servant, Joffrey Chausseur. Just kidding. I don't know who he is. Who is Joffrey Chausseur? What are your thoughts on hoodoo? I don't have any issue with hoodoo. I do a little hoodoo myself. No problem with it. It's effective, especially if you're looking to do some nefarious things. It's pretty quick and effective. If I don't want to do a reading for like myself, most of the practitioners I go to are from either the ATRs or the ADRs, of which hoodoo is a member. Hoodoo is an ADR, so yeah, hoodoo has a place of high respect in my mind. The Canterbury Tales, dude. I'm sorry, it's been so long since I had to read anything like that. It's been so long. It's stories written in Old English. Good morning, Brody. What's going on? What's going on? One for the little guy. ADR, yes. ADR is African Diaspora Religion, and ATR is African Traditional Religion. So voodoo would be an ATR, an African traditional religion, as would Ifa, things like that. But things like Santeria, Candomblé, Kimbanda, Hoodoo, those are ADRs. So they're from Africa and they're influenced by Africa, but they were integrated into South America, Mexico, Cuba, things like that, and intertwined with those cultures. And, there was a fusion of, those original folk things from Africa, and then, the Catholics, and then the local cultures fused together to make whatever it is. So that's an ADR. You're cute, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Are you the guitar player from Korn? I wish I was if I was the guitar player from Korn, if I was sitting out anywhere, it'd be on a yacht somewhere, okay? Or the backyard would look a lot. You'd see an in-ground pool and a grotto and, naked women and, I don't know. I don't know what rich people have in their backyards, but it wouldn't be a shed with the door open and some used lawn chair, used chair, yard chairs. So, am I married? No, I'm not. I'm not married. My ex and I, we didn't really work out. So in June we ended things. So, no. But yes, that is an ADR, and those are the ATRs. They're pretty powerful stuff. Some pretty powerful stuff. If you ever get the chance to study any of the ATRs or the ADRs, they're beautiful religions, beautiful traditions. Some of them can be considered cults, although that might be a bit offensive. But they're very beautiful and they're very powerful. And they are all closed. I don't know any ATR or ADR that is open for anyone to do. They are all closed and require licencia or require some sort of initiation. Such as in Pelo Meombe, you need to be scratched. The spirits have to, you have to get scratched by a present Pelo, and they have to let the spirits scratch you. In Kimbanda, you have to receive Eshu into your head, which is sort of the same thing along the lines of Vudan, where you get your Mettet or your head spirits. But Vudan requires sort of a group initiation, if you will. So yeah, they're all closed. Let's see. Condolences to whom? Oh, to me and my ex. No, it's okay. It's all right. We tried to work it out from like January through June, and it just didn't work out. So whatever. Can you go? Oh my God, get out of here. Can you go like step by step of how a chaos magic ritual should go? Well, I'm not really a chaot, so I can't really tell you how a chaot would do it, and that's the problem, because most chaots believe in doing whatever you want, and I don't really agree with that. So I guess the answer is there really is no way to do a chaos ritual. You can just do whatever you want. I know a lot of chaots focus on sigil work, so you could do that. You just make your sigil with your intent, remove all the vowels, write out your intent, remove all the vowels, connect the dots. But I'm not an artist, so I don't make my own. I get them done by a pro, or I use that sigil engine, and then you activate it, either the flashing method, the masturbation method. There's the scrying method where you put it on your scrying mirror and it flashes that way. But yeah, I'm not a chaot, so. Which do you prefer, ATR or ADR? Well, I'm not a member of any, but they're all extremely powerful. But the more accessible ones are the ADRs, because the ATRs are, for the most part, in Africa, whereas the ADRs are more spread out amongst the world. So you're more likely to run into somebody who practices Santeria, because there's more people from, Cuba here than there may be from, some remote area of the Ivory Coast where they might do Ifa or something like that. So the ADRs would probably be more accessible, or I guess it would depend on where you are. I guess like maybe parts of like New York might have a high African, concentration or something like that. But I would say the ADRs are more accessible, but I don't prefer one over the other. They're both extremely powerful. They're both beautiful. One is born from the other. The ADRs come out of the ATRs. So how does one scry? Well, it depends on the method that you're using. My preferred method is through crystals or dark mirrors. Essentially, you can scry any time of the day, but it's preferable to be done at night, so that way you have less natural lighting. And essentially, once you're all set up, you have your scrying device. You want to get yourself into an altered state of consciousness. I use a combination of flying ointments and mantra chanting to slip into an altered state. And once your brain switches to that, what E.A. Coetting calls the theta gamma sync, you are then able to use your scrying device to peer into another realm, or see the future, or remote view, or whatever. So at that point, once you've switched, you want to gaze at your scrying device, whatever it may be, and you're just going to not look at it, but you want to kind of look through it, like you're looking through a window. And this is the hardest part. You have to empty your mind and just wait for things to come. And that's the hard part, because most people want to project something. They want to see something, and you just have to let it come. And once you get better at that, then you can start to do things where you do want to do certain things, like scry the elements, or scry the aethers, or gate walk, and things like that. So what kind of ointments do you use? Well, they're in the house right now, but I use I get mine from Belladonna's Botanicals. She has a website. She also has an Etsy, but she doesn't sell the poisonous ones on Etsy because of their rules. She only sells the poisonous ones, which are the ones that I use, on her website. I use her, what's it called? Out of the Matrix, or Matrix Flying Ointment, and her Spirit Communication Flying Ointment. And both of those have belladonna in them, Atropa belladonna, which is poisonous. So those are only sold on her site, but those are the ones that I use. And what mantras? I use mantras from the Enchiridion of Pope Leo III. I don't expect most people to know what that is, but grimoire tradition is a heavily Christianized form of magic. So we use a lot of Catholic things. So I use the mantras from the Enchiridion of Pope Leo III. There's quite a few, so I just pick one that might fit what I'm doing, or might fit my mood at that moment, and simply recite that. If I'm doing a necromantic ritual, there are some mantras that are in Sabbatica Volume 1 that I use. I think there's some in Sabbatica Volume 4, but I don't like the font that's written in, so I can't really read it, so I couldn't even tell you. But Volume 1, I use some of the mantras in there too. Do you have a Facebook? Yeah, but it's private. It's like a personal Facebook, not my, like, I don't have one for like this or anything. I have ADHD and things I do that will. They're poisonous to you? Yeah, I mean, if you were to eat it or something like that, yes, they're poisonous. And if you were to put too much on you, then yes, you could absorb too much and, have some sort of reaction. So, yeah, they're poisonous. Just Google Atropa belladonna and you'll see. Sorry, I got to keep an eye on my dog. He bites everything. Thank you for the follow, Stephanie Young. The Mexichip, hey brother, what's going on? Good morning, if it's morning where you guys are. I'm doing well, how are you? I'm doing well. Was doing some reading and then we got some good questions. So I started answering the questions. Reading crystal gazing. Enjoying my morning before I gotta start work. Can I see your dog? Come here. Come here. Come here. He's coming. Come on. Alright, there he was. You probably just saw him walk up. Come here. They want to see you. Come here. There he is. You don't know what's going on. Say hi, Hank. He's a English bulldog and French pug mix, or is it the opposite? Is it a French bulldog English pug mix? One of the two. So, there you go. She sheds like crazy. Let's see. Why don't you agree with doing whatever you want in chaos magic? Is it because one lacks understanding of the order behind the scenes, or because sloppy? Mainly because it's sloppy. There are plenty of practices that come out of chaos magic that are completely legit. And there are plenty of people who do chaos magic who do follow a structured format. But what I'm talking about is stuff like, if you ever heard of the Temple of Mayor Girard, they don't exist anymore. If you try to Google them, you're not going to find them. You'll probably find people like me talking about them on forums and stuff like that. But, you know, or like people who think that you can, you know, evoke Pokemon, or you can evoke the Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, cards, or Magic the Gathering, and, you know, use those, or, you know, call on Goku and Naruto and use them in a spell. And it's like, you're taking it a little too far now. I mean, sure, with the whole egregore thought form thing and the whole, you know, there's millions of people who think about those characters every day and love those characters and, you know, give it energy and things like that. So wouldn't that make it real in some sense on the astral plane? Perhaps. But why would you want to call on Naruto, who was created within the last 30 years, when you can call on a spirit who's been here for 30,000 years? I mean, Naruto, or the guy who's been doing it for, you know, since time immemorial, you know? That's how I look at it. You know, do you want the lawyer who just graduated from law school, or the lawyer who's been doing it for 20 years? So that's how I look at it. Oh, thank you. Yes, he is. He's eating. He eats everything. Now he's eating, I don't know, some sort of a nut that fell off the tree. Go ahead, eat it. Go ahead and eat it. And then you're going to throw up and get sick. Go ahead and eat it. He eats just whatever. Sounds like American Gods. Yeah. I mean, that's a cool show. But, I mean, I don't know. There's some things that I do agree with from Theosophy, I guess you want to call it, but then there's a lot that I don't. So, is there more room for error or negative outcomes? I think so. If you just are doing whatever you want, I feel like most people make the occult more art than science, when it should be more science than art, at least at first. Once you understand the science, then you can get creative with it. It's like anything else. Like, why would the occult be any different than anything else? Cooking. If you don't know how to cook, you can't just throw anything you want in the pot and then expect a full meal to come out and for it to taste good. You have to know how to cook. Then once you know how to cook, then you can get creative and start, you know, doing flavors and all kinds of course, you're gonna sit on my tree. That's great. Yeah, get out of here. Sorry, I don't want to make noise. But yeah, you have to know how to cook first, and then you can get, you know, creative with it. So I feel the same way about magic. You have to know the foundation, or you have to have a foundation first, and you have to understand that foundation. And then once you have a firm understanding of that foundation, then you can build upon it. But people are just coming into it and thinking that they can do whatever they want, and they don't have a foundation. And then when people like me try to ask them, okay, so this is what you're doing, and that's fine, but can you explain what you're doing and why you're doing it? They get all offended, they get upset, they get defensive, and you shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad at yourself, because you don't know what you're doing, and that you're trying to defend the fact that you don't know what you're doing, and it just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Let's see here. Is there? I answered that. It's a better book. American Gods. I did not read the book, but yeah, most things are better as books than they are movies. The way I do it is banish, charge a sigil, and banish again. What do you use for your banishing ritual? The lesser banishing ritual, or do you do something else? Natural proclivities. What do you mean by natural proclivities? Was that a crow? I guess it was a crow. I don't know. Are there crows around here? I don't know. Perhaps. I don't know birds like that. So maybe. Perhaps it was a crow. Oh, the sun's right there. You can say it's like right there. Jesus Christ. The lesser banishing ritual. That's cool. have you heard of the adjuration of Metatron? Look into that ritual. That's a Vanishing Ritual, works wonders. I mean, it's like the LBRP on steroids. I mean, it calls on Metatron and his gang, like his whole band of friends, to come and banish the area and cleanse it before or after a ritual work, as in a natural talent for magic. Are you asking, are there people who do have a natural talent for magic? I do believe so, yes, especially people who come from like a generational thing, which is pretty rare. People whose like their mothers and their grandmothers and their great grandmothers and their great grandmothers, or their grand, and the fathers too, from way back in the day, and it was passed down and passed down and passed down. I think you can be born naturally gifted to do certain things, yes. Or connection, but like anything, yes, I believe you should learn the fundamentals. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing. Once you have a foundation, then you're free to go wherever you want, and you're not going to make the mistake of thinking that you can call on Pokemon and Digimon and Dragon Ball Z and some nonsense like that, thinking that you can turn a demon into an angel just by giving it love and giving it a hug and all this new age nonsense that's going on out there. Once you have a foundation, you will be able to build on that foundation and make a path for yourself, but it'll be built on a solid foundation that you can back up, that you can explain, that you can sit down with someone and have an esoteric conversation on a deeper level than just the surface, than just swimming on the surface, like most people are doing. They're just swimming on the surface. Nobody goes deep, nobody goes under, and that's ridiculous, because the occult well is deep and it's vast. The knowledge that occultism possesses is deep, and people just like to swim on the surface for some reason, and I don't understand. Let's see. I do think astrology is tied in with magic, and was wondering what your thoughts about astrology. So I don't do astrology because it deals too much with math and numbers, and I'm not so good. Well, it's interesting. I'm good with like financial math, but I'm not good with like any other types of math. So but yeah, I'm not really into astrology. But yes, we do use the planets in magic, and timing and things like that are important. But I don't do astrology. I've had my charts done and things like that before, but I'm not into astrology myself. So I wouldn't be able to go into that in any depth. Like, I paint and I do it without lessons, but I would like to be taught. Well, see, painting is an art. There is no science behind painting. Painting is an art. There are people who can just paint and not ever have a lesson, and can perfectly do a face or perfectly do a house or whatever. And then there are some people who, like me, I might be a great painter. I don't know. I don't paint, but I would have to have someone teach me, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Whereas the occult is both an art and a science. It's a science first, and then it becomes an art after you understand what you're doing. Sounds like American white culture, being forced into magic. What do you mean like if you're born into it? You mean? Not new astrology. Okay, bet that's why people do. What day would be the best to cast a luck spell? It depends on what you're going for good luck, but I would say probably Wednesday, Thursday, or Sunday would probably be the best days for good luck. Probably Sunday, probably the best. You can harness the power of the sun. But if you're doing it for more of like a financial thing, Mercury is good for commerce. So Wednesday, if you have like a business, Wednesday. If you're doing it for more just like investment money or something like that, you're trying to time the markets, something like that, Thursday, Jupiter. But yeah, art has a lot of science. That is true. Art does have a lot of science, but I guess it would depend on the art, and I guess it would depend on people's view of art, because I guess that's an issue with art. Art is so subjective. So No, like Pokemon and Transfiguring Angels. What do you mean? What do you mean Pokemon and Transfiguring Angels? Wow, I've been practicing magic without ever realizing it because I've been studying it more first. See? And that's good. It's good that you study before you jump in. Some people say that, oh, just jump in and get your feet wet because if you study, then you'll never, jump in. I don't agree with that. Yes, there are people who get that thing. What's it called? Paralysis by analysis. You study too much that you don't practice. But I don't think too many people fall into that trap. I think most people will study, and then once they feel ready, they'll start to jump in. So. In relation to the white culture thing, like even New Age culture. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I do agree with that. That's definitely a them thing. And the problem with New Age is they don't know where they come from. And I have a video on that. Someone asked the question a month or so ago, and I made a full 3-minute video on that about how the problem with the New Age is that these people are doing these practices that they don't understand. I'm sorry to say, if you're doing yoga in a studio, in a shopping center next to the nail salon and the Walgreens, you're not doing yoga. I'm sorry, that's not real yoga. That's stretching and breathing, and sure, you might feel good and it might be good for your body, but it's not yoga. It's some watered down, westernized thing, and you're calling it yoga, and because you're wearing yoga pants, it's not yoga. Believe me, go to India and go to a real yoga, it's not a studio, but like a real yoga like temple, and really see how yoga is done. You'll get blown out the fucking water trying to do the shit that they're doing. You're not doing yoga. I'm sorry. It's not yoga when you're 26 years old living in, Pasadena, and it's next to the Burger King. That's not yoga. Sorry. You're not doing Reiki just by sitting there meditating and visualizing a yellow light coming from your hands and it touches the other person and you just visualize it healing them. That's not Reiki. That is not Reiki. Go to Tibet. Go to certain places in China. Go to that island off of Thailand where the Javanese live, and they do real Reiki, and you'll see. Read their books, not books by that you can easily get on Amazon.com from someone who wrote it 2 years ago through some American publishing house. No, that's not where you're going to get the real information. That's some watered down, westernized, fast food, microwavable spirituality. It's not spirituality. It's instant spirituality, and that's not spirituality. That's not how it works. You have to work for spirituality. You have to build up to it. It's not something that you can just wake up in the morning and go, I meditated today, so I am spiritual. No, you did something spiritual, but you're not spiritual. I'm bald and I meditate, but am I a monk? No. Just because I do a couple things that monks do doesn't mean that I'm a monk. There are things that you have to do to call yourself a monk. Spirituality requires work. You can't just wake up and call yourself spiritual because you have a crystal and you put it on your forehead and it just feels so good. That's not anything. So let me go back up here. Let's see here. Facts, that's me. Hey, what's going on, Terry? A polarized mind doesn't look for truth, it looks for what fits their agenda. Exactly. Man, I'm glad people are on the same page. Get out of here. It's more like a circus art sprinkled with spirituality. Yeah, books that are $100. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And then they don't understand that their practices come from things like Theosophy. So in sorry, a Snapchat thing popped up. In a lot of New Age practices, they believe in ascended masters, right? Where did that come from? Because the New Age did not exist before the 1980s. I mean, it did in some respects, okay, because it does come out of 19th century Victorian era spiritualism. That's where it comes from. That's really where New Age comes from. But the modern day New Age came from the 1980s when the actors and the actresses like Shirley MacLaine, you can Google all of this, I'm not bullshitting. Shirley MacLaine will come out and say, oh, the angels are talking to me, and oh, they told me that we all have to be one, and we're all one, and we all have to live together. And I'm not saying that's not true, that we're all not one, and that we should all work together, you know, for common cause and all that. But you're not getting that from the damn angel. The angel's not telling you that, because they don't care about none of that. Angels have a job, and they're doing it. They don't care about, are the humans being one today? Are they all raising the vibration today? Nope. Well, I guess we got to go talk to some, yeah, you're right, mostly white people, and tell them that you have to go talk to your 2,000 followers and tell them that the angel of the sun, ooh, the sun, he's shining, oh, it's all over my face, the sun, he told me that love is the answer. What? No. But anyway, the Ascended Masters come from Theosophy. Helena Blavatsky. If you say Theosophy to most New Agers, they wouldn't know what you're talking about. They may have heard of it, but they can't have it. They wouldn't be able to describe it to you or have a conversation with you at any length. But they have no problem stealing, not borrowing. Borrowing implies that you understand what you're doing. So they steal. They stole the Ascended Masters from them. They have no problem stealing it, but they can't have a conversation about them at any length. At any length. Interesting. These transcendent meditation practices comes from Buddha's monks, Tibetan monks, Shinto monks, Taoist monks. But if I go to a New Ager and I say Tao of the left, just say Tao of the left, they'll say, huh? What? You don't know Tao. You're doing some of the things that they do in Tao of the left, but you don't know Tao of the left, like even a little bit. You've never even heard of that's a problem. That's a problem. They do things where they believe in the chakra system. They get that from Hinduism. Most New Agers only know the Hindu gods. That's it. Oh, and karma, which they don't even understand karma properly. Karma is not just a what goes around comes around thing. But you try to talk to a New Ager about karma, they have no... It's just a what goes around comes around. If you do good, then good will come back. Then why are the most evil people in the world seem to be the most wealthiest people in the world? Why are the people who rule over countries, the people with actual power, those are the people who seem to be prospering? The bad people. I don't see bad things happening to them. They seem to be doing well. Seem to be doing pretty well to me. The good die young and all that other stuff. Huh. But karma, right? You do good, you get good, right? No, it's not how it works. But you can't talk about that with a New Ager. They're very surface. They swim in the kiddie pool thinking that they're in the ocean. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're literally in a kiddie pool with water up to their ankles, and they think they're in the ocean. And it's ridiculous. They talk about things like being able to astral project and being able to, go into people's dreams and being able to talk to angels and other types of spirits. Those come from occultism and hermeticism. Say hermetics to a New Ager. They don't, and if they do know, very little. Oh yeah, that's that Hermes guy, right? The Hermes guy. Like, come on, really? They have a severe lack of understanding of where they come from. So that lack of understanding of where they come from informs or doesn't inform their current practices, which they don't know what they're doing. And then that informs, or the lack thereof, where they're going. Ask a New Ager. Okay, so you raise your vibration. You've activated your light codes, whatever that means. You've activated your latent DNA, whatever that means. You've activated your 12D shield. You talk to your ascended masters. You talk to your angels. You talk to your spirit guides. Now what? What's next? Are you just going to go around in a circle and do those same things over and over and over again? What do you do next? Oh, okay. Some of them might say, okay, you might learn how to astral project, maybe some planetary grid work, whatever that means. But that's really about it. What else is there? What else would you do in the New Age after that? And what is that, 2-3 years of work? Now what? You're done? You're a master, that's it? No. Get out of here. Stop playing games with me. When there's people in Tibet, in India, in Thailand, who spend their entire lives seeking nirvana, you found it in 2 years because you talked to your spirit guide? Get out of my face. Bullshit. And if it's not bullshit, then let's have a conversation on it. Talk to me about it. Let's sit down and let's dig beneath the surface. Let's get out of this kiddie pool, and I'm going to throw you in the deep end. Let's see if you can swim. Oh, now I'm the bad guy. Now I'm imposing my beliefs on you. Now I'm being a gatekeeper. No, you just can't defend your beliefs. That's not my problem. That's not my fault that you can't defend your own beliefs, that you have no foundation that you stand on, that when the waves come in, you're like, and I hate to bring a biblical reference into it, but you're like the foolish man who built his house upon the sand. When the waves come in, your house goes out with it. But the wise man builds his house upon a rock. He has a solid foundation. So, and I missed a lot of stuff here. Sorry guys. Sorry. I was in the zone. Sheesh. I was in it, man. I was out here preaching. I'm like an esoteric preacher. Hold on. I missed a lot. Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go. All right. What's up, my bald brother? Oh man. What about angel numbers and their connection to numerology? I talked about that yesterday. Well, hold on. Let me get to, because I don't want to miss the rest of these. Theosophy. Yes, Helena Blavatsky. Yeah, that's what she was doing. She was taking theology and philosophy and putting it together, but it's not Christian theology. She was very Eastern. She really went over what most New Agers won't do. They have no problem stealing her stuff, but they won't do what she did. She literally went over to India and lived with them for like 10 years, and she studied under the masters, and there are books written by those masters at that time that she was their student and things like that. And she was out there learning from those masters, and then she took a lot of that and made her own sort of a thing. She mixed it with Hermetics and things like that, but she understood all of those things. Hey boys, what's the subject here? We are talking esotericism, mysticism, occultism. Right now I'm taking huge dumps on the New Age. Goddamn, I can't type worth damn facts. Thank you guys, thank you. I'm only 23 and I stupid Hermetics. What? I love Hermetics. Okay. Yes, Hermetics is good. Ouroboros Press. Oh, hold on, something happened. Okay. Ouroboros Press has a book, Hermetica. Check that out. Ouroboros Press. Check out their website, and they have a book called Hermetica, which is pretty good. What's wrong with occult science? Nothing's wrong with occult science. Everything is great with occult science. That's what I do. Nothing wrong with occult science at all. New Age spirituality, yes, that's the problem. Let's see, like Hindu or Buddhism. Exactly. What makes you a specialist in judging spirituality? I'm not a specialist in judging spirituality. I'm a specialist in judging people who claim to be doing occult-related things without doing anything occult. I'm not sitting here judging Christians or Jews or Muslims or Buddhists or Taoists or Shintos or anybody. I'm judging the New Age because they claim to do what I do, and by not doing anything that I do. Like if you're a mechanic and then you hear somebody talking about fixing cars and everything that they're saying is wrong, you're going to say, or maybe not you personally, but somebody would say, hey, listen, didn't mean to, cut in your conversation, but everything you're saying is bullshit. I am a mechanic and I don't know what you're talking about, but this is how you do whatever you're saying. So that's what I'm doing. Not judging spirituality, I'm judging the New Age and the paranormal. I take shots at them too. So, and what makes me a specialist? I'm an occultist. I am an actual person who does spells and rituals, and I study esotericism and I study mysticism. I am a mystic. I study occultism and I practice these things. I walk my talk. If you were here yesterday or the day before, you would have seen me talking about my practices, showing the items and the tools that I use to do the certain things that I do, showing my table of practice, showing my scrying devices, showing my magic wand, showing my, other various items and tools that I use to do the things that I do. So that's what makes me a specialist. I actually do these things. I'm not just a role player. And you can tell by the way that, I'm sitting here talking about these things, answering questions. I'm not ducking and dodging. I'm going through the questions, answering everything that I can. And if I don't know, what do I say? I don't know. Like the astrology question. I don't do astrology, so therefore I can't talk about it. So we're being open and honest here. It was good. Wait, man, say it again. I'm sorry. Say what? Talking about Hermetica. Oh, the book. Yes, Hermetica, through Ouroboros Press. Ouroboros Press. The publishing house was Ouroboros. 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 Yes, there we go. Yep, you got it right. Ouroboros. You ever heard of Brother Panic? I think, I know I've heard of Brother Polite, or Brother Polite, however you say his name. I know I heard of Brother Polite. Brother Panic, that might sound familiar. Is magic evil? It is not. Magic in itself is not evil. It's like any other thing. It's what, you do with it. I can kill somebody with a rock, but a rock in and of itself is not evil. Of course, people want to use the guns, yes. I mean, I am a gun owner in my state, where, I don't have to have a license or anything like that. So we have guns here. Guns aren't evil. I can kill somebody with it, or I can hunt with it. I could, use it to just go to the range, so no, magic in itself is not evil. And even the Bible does not condemn magic. The Bible condemns witchcraft, which, yes, I do witchcraft, but I'm not a Christian, so that's not important. But the Bible doesn't condemn magic. The Bible condemns witchcraft, which is magic through the power of either yourself, which you're supposed to deny yourself in Christianity, or through the power of another being, so another god, another spirit, or whatever. But doing magic through God is fine. Hence, Moses did plenty. And of course, the Christians will try to say, "Oh, that's not magic; those are miracles." Stop it. You're playing semantic games here. It was magic. It's not like, how do you turn a staff into? I mean, like, he had a battle with the Egyptian priests. Like, hey, let's have a magic battle. They had a wizard fight. And his staff turned into the snake and all that other nonsense, and he called down this. That's magic. So the Bible doesn't condemn magic. The Bible condemns witchcraft. And Solomon said, yes, King Solomon did magic. Now, he mostly did magic to appease his wives, because he was loyal to his God. That's how he got all that wealth and everything like that. Or so the legend goes. He came to God when his father died, David. And he prayed to God and said, all I want is to be able to rule these people justly. That's all I want. Just give me the wisdom to rule these people justly. And God said, oh, well, because that's all you want, I'm going to give you everything. And then he rained all, gold upon him and all this stuff. And then, of course, he had those 500 wives. Stop eating that. Hank, stop eating that. You're going to, all right, go ahead and eat it. And then he had those 500 wives, and they came from various lands, and all the lands weren't, I guess, Jewish back then. There wasn't any Jesus or anything, so all the lands weren't Judaic. So there was plenty of pagan gods going around. So when he had all those wives, and they bought their religions into the kingdom and things like that, so he started to appease them. He would worship and venerate these other gods, and that's how he started to get into occultism. So let's see, are you in an occult? I am an occultist. Yes, I'm not in an occult. That's not a thing. I'm not in a cult either, if that's what you're asking. I'm not in a cult where, like, I wear white and we dance around the maypole, or singing songs to the Sun Lord or anything like that. No, I'm not in a cult or anything. No, it was God, not magic. Whether it was God or not doesn't make it not magic. Anything that happens in our world that happens supernaturally would be considered magic. So if it comes from God and it happens in our world and it's not of a natural manifestation such as a tree or life or something like that, then it would be magic. If God came down here and went like this and a chair appeared, that's magic. Whether it comes from God or the devil or Zeus or me, it's magic. You can't say, oh, that was God. Well, okay, yeah, God did it, but the act that he did was magic. So is the world magical or illusion? I don't know about that. That's more of like a Gnostic thing. I don't know how I feel about Gnosticism. I mean, well, in that way, I don't really see the world through a Gnostic view. And sorry, the sun is like right there. So, hi, beautiful. How are you? Hello, Nathalie. Good morning to you, or good evening, or afternoon, or wherever you are. It's a lovely sunny day here on the East Coast of the United States of America. My dog is eating some nut that fell off the tree. What about dreams in the terms of psychology and spirituality? What do you mean? What do you mean? I used to do dream interpretation. That was a while ago. But the problem with dream interpretation, hi, I'm in Sweden. It's 4 p.m. for me. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope you had a good day. I'm assuming your work day is probably over, if you worked today. Or if you had class today, I hope you had a good day in class. And thank you for joining the live stream. We're talking occultism here. But yes, I used to do a dream analysis. Oh my God, years ago. I was like 19, 20 when I did that. I was like in college. And but the issue with that is like a lot of people want to use like a dream dictionary or something like that. But the same issue that I have with people who want to read the books that come with the tarot deck is that the meaning of that card or the meaning of that thing in your dream, like if you dream about a black cat or a coyote, and then you open up the dream dictionary and it says that, oh, the coyote means, you know, I don't know, you feel like someone's chasing you, I don't know, something like that. It just because you have a coyote in your dream and it means that doesn't mean if Kyle saw a coyote in his dream, it means the same thing. Kyle might come from a Native American tribe where coyotes are sacred, and maybe that was one of his ancestors trying to contact him, but now he believes that someone's trying to chase him or something, you know, like you. So you have to take dreams by the case. You know, it's on a case by case basis. Oh my God, all these flies. So let's see here. Didn't work, just hungover today. Still doing great though. Well, I hope you had a great night then. It's a joke. What's a joke? What do you mean? Is that gig? Gig? What you mean? It's horrible. No context or continuity. Yes, exactly. Bobby Hemmett or Dr. Phil Valentine. I don't know what that means. Do you think most ideas are subjective? It depends on the idea, I guess. When it comes to spirituality, I think something can at first seem subjective, but depending on that's hard. Depending on where that idea came from, there might be some objectivity behind it. We run into that problem in the occult with UPG, or unverified personal gnosis. There are a lot of practitioners out there that have a platform, and that, you know, like that have like a lot of followers, and they've sort of created their own systems, like Mark Allen Smith. I showed some of his books. I have some of his books. He's the creator, although he calls it a revitalization, but he's the creator of this Atlantean current of witchcraft, where his three main gods are Hecate, Belial, and Lucifer. And then, you know, the pantheon, you know, that surrounds them are, you know, their daughters and their children, stuff like that. And that is mostly UPG. So to someone who doesn't understand magic, who doesn't have a foundation in occultism, that UPG would seem subjective, because you would think, well, where are you? I mean, you know, because he does sort of like a reverse clip off for his system. So he does the night side tree, and he places some of his gods at various points on those trees. So you wonder, where did he get any of that, and things like that. But if you understand occultism and you understand how trad witchcraft works, you'll see that his Atlantean current actually was formed out of the synchronization with trad witchcraft and the traditional magics of Europe. And from that standpoint, you would see that it's actually objective, because trad witchcraft is a legitimate system that goes back centuries and centuries in Europe, and England, I believe, as well, although they're more druidic and things over there. So in that sense, so I guess it depends. It would depend on where the idea comes from. Teachers of the occult science, what occult base are you coming from? So my base is a mixture of green witchcraft. That was my first, I was formally trained. High Priestess Caroline Graham of the Elderwood clan trained me for 4 years in green witchcraft, as well as, well, not her personally, but other members of the coven, a form of Celtic shamanism. I come from the basis of grimoire tradition, which has a foundation in Judaism and Christianity, more mystical Christianity more than anything else. And I come from a background of hoodoo as well, which is an ADR. So, metaphysics, Baphomet science. What do you mean? Baphomet, the goat of Mendes, was a Templar deity. Outside of that, he really has no basis in much of occultism. I know that a lot of Christians like to think that that's what the devil looks like, I guess because he's a weird god, like he's a weird looking god. He has horns, a goat head, breasts, and a penis, and goat legs. So I guess it looks weird. So, and a lot of other gods that people know about, like Zeus and, Osiris and, Hades, and, they don't look weird. A lot of them look pretty much human. So I think because he looks weird, people like to pick him as the occult god, but that comes from ignorance. And I think it's starting to show. So I don't know what you're talking about. I can't find the adjuration of Metatron on Google. It is in the Book of Abraxas from Scarlet Imprint. I showed it the other night. I'm outside and everything is in. I don't want to keep getting up and going in the house and getting things. Or else I would show it. Hey, stop it. So it's in the Book of Abraxas from not Scarlet Imprint, from a Nephilim Press, the Book of Abraxas. The adjuration of Metatron is in there. Let's see. The god Pan. Yes, the god Pan. Baphomet is based off of him. I guess the devil in general would be based off of him. But I don't understand why. I mean, the image of the devil has changed. I mean, if you look at Christian art, you go back to the Renaissance, the devil didn't look like that. And then you go back before that, the devil didn't look like that. It changed. Why is the devil changing his form? And then why is he appearing to all these Christian artists? That's weird. How do all of these Christian artists know what the devil looked like? You're supposed to be Christian. Like, the devil's supposed to be the furthest thing away from you. I find that interesting. That the devil is just changing his form. He's just changing with the times, huh? He's got to stay fashionable. Like Lucifer on Fox. Well, now on Netflix. Come on. No way. Okay, you need some more info on the unforeseen. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is the unforeseen? Enlighten me. I am ignorant to the unforeseen. There is no devil. What do you mean there is no devil? There is a devil. There is a devil. That's just part of duality. If there's up, then there's down. If there's left, then there's right. If there's a God, then he must have an opposite. There's a devil. Now, is there like a devil over the entire world? Like there's only one God and so there's only one devil? No. The Abrahamic God is real just as much as Zeus is real, just as much as Buddha is real, just as much as Kali and Shiva and Krishna are real. Just as much as the devil is real. So, I don't know what there is a devil. Look into traditional witchcraft. Look into flying to the Sabbath. I talked about flying ointments earlier. Look into the purpose, the original purpose of flying ointments. They were used by traditional witches, the first witches, to fly to the Sabbath to dance and meet with the devil. And that's still practiced today in traditional witchcraft circles and covens today. That was the original purpose of flying ointments, which, of course, they came out of the shamanic version of going on shamanic journeying, of rubbing ointments on their body to travel to the various spirit realms. And then the witches took it and made flying ointments, and they use it to travel to the Sabbath, to fly to the Sabbath. If you watch the movie by Robert Eggers, The Witch, at the very, very end of it, we get a little glimpse of it. You have to know what you're watching. If you don't know if you just think it's a movie, oh, he did some research, oh, that's cool. No, you have to know what you're watching. But at the very, very end, when her whole family is dead, well, we assume that they're all dead. I think one of them is just missing, but we assume that they're all dead. The devil comes to her and offers, do you want to live, deliciously? Do you want, milk and honey and a pretty dress and all this other stuff? And then he tells her to get naked, and she goes out into the woods and she sees all the other witches. But the things, it gets very hazy, it gets very blurry and things like that. That is indicative, is the word I'm looking for. That's an analogy. I don't know what the word I'm trying to say is, but that is representative of being under the influence of a flying ointment. And then what happens? Those witches start to rise. They're rising up and they're rising up and they're rising up, and they're floating and floating and floating because they're going to the Sabbath to dance with the devil. That's why that goat was there. He was going to lead them. All right, let's see here. Well, also, are they really Christians? No, I feel like most people who claim to be Christian are not Christian. And most people who are Christian here in America, unless they identify as Catholic, if they only come back and say Christian, they're mostly Protestant or Lutheran, which means they come after the Reformation, which I don't understand why there was even a Reformation. I mean, other than the King Henry thing, they didn't like the fact that they had to confess through a priest, because the Bible says no man cometh unto the Father but by me. But the Bible also says that that Jesus gave Peter the keys to create a kingdom and to give to the church. And then whatever Peter binds, he wasn't talking, like, that's the problem. A lot of people think that the Bible is written and the entire thing is talking to everyone, when a lot of times Jesus isn't talking to you. He was talking to Peter, or he was talking to someone and telling them something. It wasn't some parable, and it wasn't some mystical thing. He was just talking to Peter, telling Peter, hey bro, I trust you. You're the only one who understands all this nonsense. Of course, there's that whole Gospel of Judas, and that it was really Judas who understood everything. But if we're going to go with Orthodox, the ancient church, he gave Peter the keys and said, Peter, whatever you loose bind in heaven, bind on earth, I shall bind in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth, I shall loose in heaven. So he gave that to Peter. And so Peter was the rock, which is what Peter means. And on him, the church is built. Hence, we have the apostolic succession. The Reformation done away with that. So most Christians who are Protestant and Lutheran, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand why you got rid of all of that. For what? Because you didn't like it? Because you didn't understand it? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, most Christians don't understand the history of their own church. They just read the Bible. But the Bible also says, lean not unto thine own understanding. So why are you reading the Bible with your own limited knowledge when there are biblical scholars out there who know the Bible a lot better than you do? I don't think it's a sin to go and talk to those people, because your own book says, lean not unto thine own understanding. And by you just reading the Bible on your own or in your little Bible study group, that's what you're doing. You're leaning into your own understanding, and shouldn't do that. That's why there were, back in the days, there were conclaves and councils, not ecumenical councils, but just regular councils that were convened, because all the ecumenical councils were called by popes. Not called by popes. They were called by emperors, hence the term ecumenical, which is weird. But that just goes to show you how much Christianity was used for power and not spirituality. So, who created the devil? No one created the devil. He created him. He didn't create himself, but he did it to himself. If that makes any sense. Like, he gave himself that thing. There was no devil before he did it. So before he did that thing. It was so good. The man in the back behind her. Yes. The fact that he didn't show the devil, he just made him. I felt like he was a pirate because he had those boots on with the like the spurs on the back. So like I felt like he was a pirate. But yeah. Black Phillip. Yes, Black Phillip. When's the next live stream? Maybe tonight. Maybe when I get off tonight. Maybe I get off early tonight, but I don't know. It depends on like if my friends want to go out or do anything. But if we're not going to do anything tonight, if it's just like a chill night, then I can get on tonight, probably around like 9 p.m. Eastern time. Political control under the guise of morality. Exactly. We can thank Emperor Constantine for most of what we know about Christianity. Without the context of language, history, and intentions, aka English translation, which is so off. Exactly. Yeah, English is a very I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It seems to have lost the essence of language, because it's so descriptive. It's so descriptive. I mean, like, okay, so for example, if we're talking about the Bible, in Greek, right? They have three. I'm sure there's more. I don't speak Greek, but in terms of the Bible, there's three ways to say love. There's eros, philios, and agape. Now, eros is the love that you have for like someone you're in love with, like your wife or your spouse, whoever you're in love with. Eros. Filio is brotherly love or friendly love, which is where we get Philadelphia. Agape is the love that the Abrahamic God would have for his people. But in English, we just have love. There is no, if you're my friend, I say, I love you, bro. If you're my girl, I say, I love you. Or if you're my mom and my dad, I love you. And if I'm God, then, and you're my people, then I love you. And if there's any context behind that, I then have to explain, or you have to be there to know, that I'm talking to my girl, that I'm talking to my boy, or that I'm talking to my followers, or whatever. Whereas in Greek, they don't need the description because they have the separate words for it. If you say eros, you know that you're talking about a romantic love. If you say agape, you know that you're talking about a divine love. If you say filio, then you know that you're talking about a friendly type of love. So yes, I do agree with that. English has lost a lot of the essence of language. Let's see here. Bet, have a good day, man. You too. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to be getting off here soon because I got to start work. I'm going to be getting off in like 10 minutes. Agape love is not Greek. That's Hebrew. Yes, you're right. Sorry about that. Apologies. And it can change depending which words precede or come after. It's a complex language. Yes. English has, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a vulgar language. It's not like, like Latin or anything like that, but it's bastardized. I will say that. It's bastardized. So I do agree with that. All right, there's a bunch of flies around here. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I do know how it became the main language, but I kind of wish there were other languages that are as well spoken as English, like globally, as like the global language. These lives give me life. Well, thank you very much. Can you guys, is there like a glare? Because I feel like the sun is like right there, and my bald head is like shining. All of this money. How what? Terry. What do you mean how? You're glowing. Thank you very much. I'm glowing. American English is confusing, especially people who don't speak English. Yes, it's very, very confusing. I think it's like outside of like Russian and like Arabic, I think it's like probably because of all of our rules. Like we have so many rules, and then let's not even talk about slang. Like forget speaking regular English. If you wanna get into the culture, you got to know some slang. And I don't just mean black slang. I mean like any sort of cultural, or any sort of regional slang. A lot of it doesn't even make any sense. A lot of it does not make any sense. Like, it's not like all slang makes sense. Like, sup is, what's up, Like, but like in the 80s, saying something was bad was good, and it was like, wait, what? Like to a foreigner, that would not make any sense. Of like, wait, what, bro? Or, I remember when I was in high school, we used to say, like, if somebody was doing something, like if somebody was going hard at something, we would say they were going ham. I don't know where ham comes from. I don't know if it's an acronym for something or like, and so if a foreigner heard us say they're going ham, like pig meat, they're going ham, like you're going to baste a ham, honey baked ham, like it's like, what? So yeah, English is a crazy, crazy language as I speak it. So English became dominant because of war. England took over everything. There was a point where England was like the dominant force. They just took over. They were in India. They had ports in certain places in Japan, certain places in Asia, all over Europe. But Europe did a really good job of saying, "Excuse me, we have our own thing over here, so back away." They were in Africa. They came over here. They were in South America. Britain had a monopoly on the world at one point. They were trying to push the Lord, everybody, trying to save souls out there. That's what they were doing. If not, everybody would be speaking English. I wish everybody was speaking. I don't know. What's a cool language for everyone to speak? I don't know. I think it'd be cool if we all spoke. I don't know. French is cool. I like French. Portuguese. Spanish is cool. Spanish is sexy. I like Spanish. I don't know. To be honest, Greece took over every country in the world. Yes, that is true. Oh my God, all these flies. There was a point where Greek life, especially when it came to religion, Greece and Egypt had the monopoly on that. That's where, the library at Alexandria, and those temples, insane. Because you have Greek, Latin, French. I wish we all spoke indigenous languages. That would be cool. Speaking in indigenous. Sorry, there's a spider on my. That'd be cool. Gabriel, is that you from The Walking Dead? No, I'm not. That's crazy. And I watch The Walking Dead and Fear. I watch them both. I'm a huge fan of Negan, but I don't like the new Negan. I like the asshole Negan. I like that we got to see how Negan became an asshole. How he wasn't always an asshole. He was cool, blah blah. But his wife, that whole thing happened. So that was cool to see how he became Negan. But yeah, I liked it better when he was making everybody say, "We are Negan." Yeah. And I watch Fear too, Fear the Walking Dead. But I tried watching that. What the hell? Something hit me. I feel like a big bug flew into me. I did try to watch that teenage version. Sorry, there's a bee. Of The Walking Dead. New World or Outer World or The Walking Dead, something like that. The Walking Dead New World or something like that. I didn't like it. But then again, I don't like teen dramas or anything like that, teen shows. So, but yeah. Yeah, Fear comes back next month, I think, right? I think Fear comes back in October. I just got done watching Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker. He played Bumpy Johnson. So that was cool. What do your meditation practices look like? Well, it depends. Sometimes I come right out here, or I'll be in the house. But it's nothing fancy. I just meditate. And then if there's a purpose to it, like I'm trying to, get into the altered state, or if I'm doing a tarot reading, or if I'm doing spell casting, then there might be some visualizations and some mantras, but there's nothing special that I do. I just meditate. There's nothing special. So I don't there's nothing extra that I do. Just mantras while I'm doing it, and that helps slip into the altered state. I have a lot of questions. That's fine. Ask away. I'll be on for another maybe 10 minutes. I'll get off at 10:50 because I start work at 11:30, so I have to get ready for work. I have to get ready to get out of here. And I gotta shave. I'm looking crazy right now. Sheesh. What mantras? there's no specific mantra, but it depends on what I'm doing. I'll use the mantras from the Enchiridion of Pope Leo III. If I'm doing evocation work, or if I'm doing any sort of spirit work that isn't spirits of the dead. So angels, planetary spirits, demons, the elementals, the aerial spirits, the planetary intelligences. I'll mainly use mantras from the Enchiridion of Pope Leo III. If I'm working with the dead and the meditation is to get ready to venerate the dead, which I'm currently waiting for my fetish to arrive, I'm getting it made from Spiritus Arcanum. Yeah, Spiritus Arcanum is making it for me. Paid him a pretty penny too for it, but he was the cheapest that I found, and I don't say that lightly because he was expensive. But these necromantic fetishes are expensive. A friend of mine, well, I can't call him a friend, colleague of mine. He's a Hungana Swoge, Funchet Nampoint. You can find him at thevoodoosorcerer.com. He does them, but his start at $1,000, and it's like, Jesus Christ, bro, $1,000. But anyway, if I'm doing necromantic work, I use some of the mantras out of Sabbatica Volume 1. You thought I had her from jail? Oh my God, no! It's just an orange, V-neck. That's all. I like V-necks. You'll never see me in a crew neck ever. I will never be on any of these lives in a crew neck. I'm V-neck all the way. Sometimes I go European with a deep V, show off my chest hair. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I like V-necks. I don't know why. I just like them. So all except one. I have one T-shirt that's a crew neck, and it's a Modelo beer shirt. So that's it. All of my T-shirts are V-necks. I like how you use the word colleague instead of friend. Perfect example. Well, I mean, I didn't want to say friend because we're not like I don't call him up and be like, hey bro, you want to hang out or anything like that. But we used to run 2 forums together, wizardforums.com, which I'm still, I don't run it anymore, and they went through a whole change and everything like that, but I'm still over there, and occultworld.net. We used to run, and I think he still runs occultworld.net, but I used to run those 2 forums with him. So we worked, we would work together, but I mean, I can't really call him a friend. Not that I don't, like him or, respect him or anything like that, but we don't hang out or anything. He lives in Florida. So, and we don't really talk much these days because I don't do the forum anymore, or at least that forum, occultworld.net. So, friend is hard to find. I call everyone a coworker or a known person, or a known person. I have a known person. What does necromancy mean exactly? I feel like there are misnomers or misconceptions. So, yes, there are. I mean, if we're talking about the original, well, not original, I can't use that, but if we're talking about the classical Greek and Roman necromancy, which is not the way that I mean it. Stop, Hank. That just simply means divination through the dead. So calling on the dead to ask it about the future, or, things like that. Or getting information, not always about the future, but you would get your information from the dead. So you get advice and things like that from the dead. But the way that I use it is the way that most people in the ATRs and the ADRs would use it, and that is working with the dead in any sort of capacity. So whether it's, getting advice, I'm trying to curse someone, I want to help someone, I'm just trying to gather information on someone, I need protection, like, protect the house or a place of business or whatever, you work with the dead in any sort of capacity. So I mean it in that way, going to the dead or working with, gods and spirits of the dead, to do any sort of working. So, greetings from the Salgi Nation. Oh, well, welcome. Cherokee. Well, thank you for stopping by. Welcome and greetings. Your Cherokee storyteller from the Salgi Nation. That's excellent. I'm glad that you're stopping by and checking me out. I hope you like what you hear. The Salgi Nation. No corpse reanimation. No. There's no. I mean, not in any real way. I mean, there are rumors, of course, you hear whisperings and rumblings, in certain occult circles of certain voodoo rituals and spells that can bring people back, or that can reanimate the body, but nah, that would defy all laws of science. Nah. And the stories that I've heard, like, I'm trying to think, are there any that even would be plausible? And I don't think that there would be any plausible. Well, there is one. It's where they get the term zombie from. Hold on, let me fix my buds. The term zombie originally came from this powder that you could give someone. I heard that they did it down in Haiti to people that they didn't like the slaves would do it to like some of their slave masters, which I guess wouldn't be real. I mean, you would get killed if they found out about it. But they would, put this powder under your nose, and you would inhale it, and it would bring you to the brink of death, but not kill you. It would slow your heart rate to the point where you were essentially dead, and it would do something to your brain where like you couldn't function on your own. You were just like a mindless drone, and so you appeared to be dead. And then the voodoo person could then tell you to go and do things, and you would go out and do it, but you would do it with a because you're not yourself. So there's that. But but you're not dead, you're alive, so I guess that's not corpse reanimation. But that would probably be the most plausible thing. That's where they get the term zombie from. So I thought the zombie thing was more of a hypnotizing. I mean, that might be part of it too. But if you study the history of zombies and voodoo, you will come across that story, and how that's where like the rumor of like voodoo and zombies in America, people would claim to see zombies walking across the plantation and stuff like that. That's where that comes from. So all right, well, it's about 10:48. I'm gonna be getting off here in a couple minutes. Any other questions? I'm gonna go get cleaned up, shower and stuff before I have to go to work. Of course, I'm always here to help. I truly believe that I've been put on here to teach, to mentor, to show people, especially in the new age and the paranormal, to show people that there is something deeper and more out there. That if you study occultism, if you study esotericism, if you study mysticism, you'll find answers to a lot of the questions that you may have had throughout life. And you should study all of those things, not just one. They all speak to each other. They're all different. What's what I'm looking for? They're all different disciplines, but they complement each other. You study occultism, and it'll speak to something that you read about over here in mysticism. So I literally found you after I was bitching about not being able to find people who teach real stuff. Well, there you go. What does that guy say? Grand Rising App, the guy with the eyes who's like out in the woods. There is no such thing as a coincidence. If you're watching this video, that means we are perfectly alive. That guy. So there you go. Literally like 15 minutes ago. That's good. I posted on my TikTok. Well, thank you for sharing me. Thank you very much. But I'm going to get going now, guys. Thank you for showing up to my, oh my God, all these flies. Thank you for showing up to my live. Do like and follow for more content like this. And I'll probably go on live again tonight, probably around like 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, probably around there somewhere. I'll be back on. So have a good day, guys, and thank you.